My name's Barbara Chandler. I'm 63 years old and I have a urostomy due to having bladder cancer and having to have my bladder removed 3 years ago. I was a widow and living on my own. One of the hardest things is trying to find the support to help you to deal with this sort of thing. I was lucky, I had a friend and my sister who came to look after me initially. But after that, when they'd all gone home, I was on my own. I had a stoma bag. I'd been told what to do with it, didn't really know how it was going to affect my life. It was just something that you just never imagine happening. You never imagine anything like this, so you don't know how you're going to deal with things. One of the first things I had to deal with was, as soon as I was well enough, I was going over to Canada to visit my sister. Now you hear all sorts of horror stories. I was told that the bags blow up in the cabin, that I was told to wear a bag, an extending bag down my leg, down my trousers, so that it would catch the urine, because otherwise the bag would just fill up. All sorts of horrendous stories you hear. You're worried how you're going to get through customs. You've got to tell everybody that you need extra supplies so that you can take extra bags, which is once again, it's exposing yourself and leaving yourself open. I did an 8-hour flight to Canada and I didn't have any problems at all. I asked the cabin crew what would I do if the bag fills up with air, and they said they'd never heard of that. So I don't know, and yet so many people had said, oh, you need to put a little pin in and make a little hole at the top, but you didn't need to. I didn't have any problems at all. On the flight back, I slept all night. I just got up and used the toilet as I needed to for comfort. Taking loads of bags and other equipment can be a bit of a problem because you do need a lot more, and that means you don't have so much room for your clothes, so you can't take quite so much stuff with you. As I started feeling a lot better, I then started wanting to go out, wanting to socialise. I used to work, well, I used to go up to a local club, and I used to run the discos and look after the children and run family nights and things like that. I carried on doing that for a while, but I have now retired from that, so I don't do that anymore. In the first couple of years, I think, were the worst because I hadn't sorted out my projects properly. I was often leaking. Everywhere I went, I took clothes with me, so that just in case, everything is a just in case. So you've always got a bag full of clothes in your boot of the car. If you're going on a train, you've got a rucksack full of changes of clothes and things like that. I've become more comfortable now with my stoma and how to look after it, and I know all the pitfalls, and now I've gone the opposite way, so I don't tend to take anything anywhere. And then I think, oh, maybe I should have taken something with me. But I started doing more socialising, friends started getting me out, and I started doing things that I hadn't done for a long time. And one of my main loves was dancing. And I love Tamla and old soul, bit of northern soul, and I love to dance. So I now go very regularly, at least once a month now, out dancing. I'm glad I have the flange extenders because I feel far more confident with getting hot. I'm not going to leak now. But to start with, it was very worrying. But what I did was I thought the only way I'm going to cope with this is to tell everyone. So everyone knows about my stoma, my bag. They all know that I sit there and pat it because I need to know if I need to go to the toilet. They all know that if anything happens, even if I have been the driver, that I will leave them there and just go home. And everyone accepts it. They accept me for who I am, and they accept the fact that I've got a stoma. I think the first time I went dancing, I went with my friend Sandy, who said, come on, you've got to come out and come dancing. So off I went. I didn't know anyone else there. no one there at all. So I really had to stick with Sandy and stick near the loo just in case, because I was so worried that something was going to happen. It was the first time I dressed up, and I found that I was very, very self-conscious about my clothes and about the fact that people could see my bag and see when it filled with urine. I don't actually think people look, but to me I felt as if they were, and so they would look at me all the time. I had to make sure I was near a loo, just in case I had to shoot out, and I was worried with the disco lights and things like that, and dancing, and I do dance a lot, whether the bag would come unstuck or something like that. But touch wood, if I've got any, I think only once I had a slight accident. I think clothes is a big thing. It's a big thing. That has been my biggest worry, is what to wear. And I have thrown away so many clothes because they're not long enough. Or I put them on, I wash them, I wear them once and I wash them, and they're not covering my bag properly. And this is really the biggest thing I worry about is the clothes and whether they're covering things. So I wear things that will cover everything. Other than that, I am a very confident person, but I do understand that not everyone's going to be. And people are going to find it difficult to go out into social situations. But believe me, just get on with it and do it. You only live once. I personally feel that it's very, very important to get involved with a group of people who have the same sort of problem, and you will then feel so much easier, and you will learn about things, and you'll learn the best way to deal with things. So look for a local group. There's quite a few for whatever type of stoma you got. Even if there isn't a group, you can go online, there's loads of forums that you can discuss things with. You're not on your own, and by being with other people, talking to other people, then you're not on your own, and that way you will cope so much better.